Hi, Busker 9 here. This is my latest diddley bow creation. Very, very simple, really easy to do. And it actually had a few things about it that were kind of easier than doing it with wood. First of all, I didn't have to sand it. Any cuts I did, anything I did, I could just use my thumb and rub off the extra plastic and it just came right off, so it was like no issue. So this was 3 feet long when I bought it. That's why I have the tape measure out there. I cut the ends off at an angle, hopefully you can see. Yep. And then I took the pieces that were left, I compared them to each other, put them side by side, and cut off the thick parts, and then put them on here with just a screw holding them in and a little hot glue. So I used a hacksaw and I used a hot glue gun. And you could probably do it with a little saw too. It wasn't hard to cut at all. It was really, really easy. Quite surprised. And once again, this is a 24-inch scale. So I used my scale template that I made myself, which I mentioned in oh so many videos. It's just a length that I like. And use the, always talking about the rat tail file, dollar store item that I used to put a little groove, put the nut in. And how I did the markings on it, because it's black, is I cut little slivers of masking tape. And I put them all along where they're supposed to be. And just left them there until I put these little shiny things on. Which I actually did fairly soon, really. I got them, here they are, from the dollar store. I had a whack of them because of playing on dark stages. Lots of times I play more than one instrument, so it would get kind of confusing if it was a place that was really had a good light show or fog or something. So I'd stick them on, keep them with me and stick them on. That's where I got them anyway, dollar store. And they really come out nice in the dark. So I put the frets there and I put the position markers over here. The tuner, just standard, same old tuner. And let's see if I can show you one thing here. There's 2 holes in that tuner, one close to the tuner and one far away. I used the hole that's closest to it, so there's less tension on it. Otherwise, it would just probably slowly go out of tune and out of tune until it snapped or broke. So the string is actually started, and the first winds are real tight to the tuner itself. And this is just something to hang it on the wall with. And I will be putting a strap on it by drilling a hole here, and putting a rope through it, right? Okay, so, and the nuts, just a bolt. Things went a little awry here. I was going to put the same kind of nut, only a little bit bigger here, or same kind of bolt, I should say, here. But I dropped it, oh my God, and I couldn't find it. But I have a whole bunch of these bridges. I think I mentioned in a recent video, I got like 8 of them from China for like $10 or something. And they're actually pretty good. So made an adjustment in the plan, but you can just have the string come out from here and over a nut. And then you've actually completed the instrument acoustically. And it doesn't sound bad acoustically, actually. Right? I have a sound hole here and one over here. So I'm not sure if the camera is pretty far away, it might not have picked it up, but it actually doesn't sound bad acoustically at all. So if you're just wanting to do something acoustically or something for your kid, there you are with the bolt there and this coming out here, you would be pretty much done. But I wanted to make this electric. And this kind of turned out to be a blessing in disguise in a way, because this bridge has these little holes. Hopefully they come in there. And I could put screws through. And I put another hole for a ground wire, which was sticking out the end. So I realized right away that chances are the string, which hooks up back here, is going to be too much, because I like to have them pretty tight and a pretty heavy gauge. It's going to be too much to, it's going to rip this out of the plastic, I was thinking. Because the plastic is sort of soft, you know. So what I did was I took a piece of wood, I put hot glue on it, I stuck it underneath, stuck it up with the hot glue, and then this is before I put the bridge on it. Then I put the bridge in place, which I'd already marked, and drilled the little holes. I re-drilled tiny little holes here, not pressing hard enough to knock it off, just to have a start. And I attached the bridge to the wood, which tightened the wood right up. The wood also turns out to be, it was a slightly smaller piece, it only came to about here. It also turns out to be the sounding board. Because after the wood was in, what I did was I took the piezo and I hooked it up. I hooked it up to the jack first. Had it hooked up to the jack, and I hooked up the ground wire. And then I put a Band-Aid on my first finger. You may be wondering why, but having built a lot of piezo cigar box guitars, these things get really hot. So if it's in an open box and you can press with something else to make sure it's firmly connected, well, that's great. But this isn't. So I put the Band-Aid on my finger, the glue on the piezo, and went in as far as I could comfortably and pressed as hard as I could. And that's where the piezo is. It's right in there on a piece of wood. I took some pictures. Hopefully they turn out. The jack, of course, just put it in the side. And I don't have a drill for the right size for the jack, which is silly, but I don't. So what I do is just use whatever's handy. And then I got one of these things. It wasn't at the dollar store though. But I don't think it was very much. It's called a reamer, and you can make the hole exactly the right size for the jack. So you don't have to worry about drilling holes too big or too small. So let's see. I had that in there, ground wire hooked up. And the other reason it needed something like this is because this is flat. And this is flat. And I realized that if I was going to glue this to the plastic, that it may or may not work because it's going to have to bend. So it was perfect with the wood. Just sat there. Now what I would have done to electrify it if this had been the way I originally intended with the strings coming out here, I still would have run a ground wire to the bolt. I know some people don't use ground wires with piezos, but there's still that little bit of hum, and I really like to get rid of that. And I just would have done this on the side. Put it in, glued it on the side, put a couple reinforcing screws to hold it, and then done everything else the way that I mentioned. And that's really it for making this thing. And with the piezo as a pickup, it's bright, so I put it into the cube, which is my test amp, and turned the tone off. That's the first thing I did. And messed around with the sound a little bit, and you heard what the result at the beginning. And I'll put another little zap of it here at the end. It sounds just like any other piezo-driven instrument. And I thought it sounded pretty good. Anyway, it's a very simple project. I hope you have some fun with it. Please let me know if you build one or send me a picture. I really like putting pictures of stuff that people build, where they got the idea for one of my videos. I like putting it up on the community page there. And other than that, you have a great day. Bye.